This video explains how to find the vertex of a parabola. Another way of saying this video will explain how to find the coordinates for the minimum or maximum of a quadratic. All right, so here you see in each particular row, you have the normal form and the factored form of the same equation, and you have their minimum or maximum and the roots of that equation. And that's true for every single row. So one thing you'll notice is that the x coordinate for our minimum or maximum, the x coordinate for our vertex, is right in the middle of our roots. One way of saying this is that the distance from each root to the x coordinate is the same. And let's give an example here. So for this one right here, the distance from this root positive 5 to our x coordinate for the minimum or maximum, which is 2. So the distance between 5 and 2 is 3. There's a 3 difference between positive 5 and positive 2. If we look at our other root, the distance between negative 1 and positive 2 is also 3. The distance is still 3. So the distance between either one of our roots to our x coordinate of our vertex or our minimum and maximum is the same. In this case, it was 3. In this case, the distance is 4. So another way we can also say this is just that the x coordinate for the minimum or maximum is in the middle of our two roots. This works because for a parabola, it has a line of symmetry right at the vertex. Or if we were to look at our vertex, we were to sort of cut right down the middle through our vertex, you'll notice that the left side of this graph and the right side of this graph looks the same. So this red line cuts the graph in half, and the left side of this red line and the right side of this red line looks the same. So if we knew one of our roots right there, and we knew the other root, in order to find the very middle, if you found the middle, you would find the x coordinate for our minimum or maximum. So the middle of 2 and 8 is 5. And that is the x coordinate for our vertex, or our minimum or maximum. Now, you don't actually technically need to use the roots. You can actually use any particular 2 points that have the same y. So for example, if I look here, let's look at the 2 spots on our graph where our y is -5. So right here, our y is -5 around x equal +3. And also your parabola, when x equals +7, your y is also -5. So halfway between 3 and 7 is also positive 5. Okay, so that was just me explaining how we know that graphically, how do you know that the x-coordinate for the minimum and maximum is in the middle? That's all I was showing here. So if I know the x-coordinate for the minimum or maximum is in the middle of the roots, how can I use that to create a general equation for finding the coordinates of our vertex, the coordinates of our minimum or maximum? So that's what we're going to be doing here on the next page. So for this very general equation, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers, how do you find the x-coordinate for minimum and maximum? How do you find the y-coordinate of the minimum or maximum? Okay, so in order to find the roots for this very general equation, I use the very general quadratic equation. So x equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So these two right here are your two roots for this very general equation. These two right here are this yellow roots for this very general equation. So we know that the x-coordinate of the minimum or maximum will be halfway in between these two, or in the middle of these two. So the way you find the middle of two numbers is that you will add them together and then divide by 2. So if I add these two right here, so it's going to be this fraction plus this fraction divided by 2. And that's what I wrote right here. That fraction plus that fraction divided by 2. The way you add two fractions together, first we make sure the bottom of these two fractions are going to be the same. They're already the same. Okay, so that means when you add these two fractions together, the top of the new fraction will just be the two tops with a plus in the middle. So that's what's here, the two tops with a plus in the middle. And the bottom is just that same bottom 2a. Right, let's simplify this fraction. You'll notice that this fraction has a positive square root and a negative square root of the exact same thing written underneath the square root. So negative square root of b squared minus 4ac plus that same square root becomes 0. So all you're left with is negative b plus negative b plus 0. That simplifies to just be negative b plus negative b. Negative 1b plus negative 1b becomes negative 2b. Negative 2 divided by positive 2 becomes negative 1. I did not write the 1 here because I don't have to. So you have negative b divided by a divided by 2. This divided by 2 you can just place at the bottom of the fraction because the bottom of fractions are division. And there you go. The general equation for the x-coordinate of your vertex or your x-coordinate of your minimum or maximum is x equals negative b divided by 2a. If I already have my x-coordinate, the way I will find my y-coordinate is just by taking that x-coordinate and putting it into my equation. So I can change each one of these x's here into negative b divided by 2a in order to find my y. And so the short way of writing that is just this. This here just means change all my x's into negative b divided by 2a and simplify to find the y.